Hey, darling squirrels. I'm going to get on here. Hopefully, I'm still awake. Let's get back to the old curiosity shop, shall we? Let's see. I'm going to go back just a little bit. Kit was a shock-headed, shambling, awkward lad with an uncommonly wide mouth, very red cheeks, a turned-up nose, and certainly the most comical expression of face I ever saw. And that's where I left off. He stopped short at the door on seeing a stranger, twirled in his hand a perfectly round old hat without any vestige of a brim, and resting himself now on one leg and now on the other, and changing them constantly, stood in the doorway, looking into the parlor with the most extraordinary leer I ever beheld. I entertained a grateful feeling towards the boy from that minute, for I felt he was the comedy of the child's life. "A long way, wasn't it, Kit?" said the little old man. "Why, then it was a goodish stretch, master," returned Kit. "Of course you've come back hungry?" "Why, then I do consider myself rather so, master," was the answer. The lad had a remarkable manner of standing sideways as he spoke, and thrusting his head forward over his shoulder as if he could not get at his voice without that accompanying action. I think he would have amused one anywhere, but the child's exquisite enjoyment of his oddity and the relief of it was to find that there was something she associated with merriment in a place that appeared so unsuited to her, were quite irresistible. It was a great point, too, that Kit himself was flattered by the sensation he created, and after several efforts to prepare his gravity, burst into a loud roar, and so stood with his mouth wide open and his eyes nearly shut, laughing violently. The old man had again relapsed into his former abstraction and took no notice of what passed, but I remarked that when her laugh was over, it says her sometimes and sometimes it says him. Lost. Let's see here. Her laugh was over. The child's bright eyes, but there was the girl, and then there's the kid. So I guess that's it. Child's bright eyes were dimmed with tears called forth by the fullness of heart with which she welcomed her uncouth favorite after the little anxiety of the night. As for Kit himself, whose laugh had been all the time one of that sort which very little would change into a cry, he carried a large slice of bread and meat and a beer of mug into a corner and applied himself to disposing of them with great voracity. "Ah," said the old man, turning to me with a sigh as if I had spoken to him, but that moment, "you don't know what to say when you tell me that I don't consider her." "You must not attach too great weight to a remark founded on first appearances, my friend," said I. "No," returned the old man thoughtfully, "no, come hither, Nell." The little girl hastened from her seat and put her arm about his neck. "Do I love thee, Nell?" said he. "Say, do I love thee, Nell, or no?" The child only answered by her caresses, and laid her head upon his breast. "Why dost thou sob?" said the grandfather, pressing her closer to him and glancing towards me. "Is it because thou knowest I love thee, and dost not like that I should seem to doubt it by my question? Well, well, then let us say I love thee dearly." "Indeed, indeed you do," replied the child with great earnestness. "Kit knows you do." Kit, who in dispatching his bread and meat had been swallowing 2/3 of his knife at every mouthful with the coolness of a juggler, stopped short in his operations on being thus appealed to, and bawled, "Nobody isn't such a fool as to say he doesn't," after which he incapacitated himself for further conversation by taking a most prodigious sandwich at one bite. "She is poor now," said the old man, patting the child's chest. "Cheek," cheek. "But I say again that the time is coming when she shall be rich. It has been a long time coming, but it must come at last. A very long time, but it surely must come. It has come to other men who do nothing but waste and riot. When will it come to me? I'm very happy as I am, grandfather," said the child. "Tush, tush," returned the old man. "Thou dost not know. How shouldst thou know?" Then he muttered again between his teeth, "The time has come, for I'm very sure it must. It will all be better for coming late." And then he sighed and fell into his former musing state, and still holding the child between his knees, appeared to be insensible to everything around him. By this time he wanted but a few minutes of sunshine, and I rose to go, which recalled him to himself. "One moment, sir," he said. "Now, Kit, near midnight. Boy, you still here? Get home, and be true to your time in the morning, and there's work to do. Good night. There, bid him good night, Nell, and let him be gone." "Good night, Kit," said the child, her eyes lightening up with merriment and kindness. "Good night, Miss Nell," returned the boy, "and thank this gentleman, as I might have lost my little girl tonight." No, master," said Kit. "That won't do, that won't." "What do you mean?" cried the old man. "I'd have found her, master," said Kit. "I'd have found her. I'll bet that I'll find her if she was above ground. I would as quick as anybody, master. Ha, ha, ha." Once more opening his mouth and shutting his eyes and laughing like a stentor, Stentor, Kit gradually backed to the door and roared himself out. Free of the room, the boy was not slow in taking his departure. When he had gone and the child was occupied in cleaning the table, the old man said, "I haven't seemed to thank you, sir, for what you have done tonight, but I do thank you humbly and heartily, and so does she, and her thanks are better worth than mine. I should be sorry that you were away and thoughtless." No, not thoughtless. "And thought I was unmindful of your goodness or careless of her. I am not, indeed." "I was sure of that," I said, from what I had seen, but I added, "May I ask you a question?" "Any," replied the old man. "What is it?" "This delicate child," said I, "with so much beauty and intelligence, has she nobody to care for her?" Nobody to care for her but you? Has she no other companion or adviser?" "No," he returned, looking anxiously in my face. "No, and she wants no other." His feet. Blah, 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 blah. "But you are not fearful," said I, "that you may misunderstand a charge so tender? I am sure you mean well, but are you quite certain that you know how to execute such a trust as this?" "Aye, am an old man like you, and am actuated by an old man's concern in all that is young and promising. Do you not think that what I have seen of you and this little creature tonight must have interest not wholly free from pain? Sir, rejoined the old man after a moment's silence, I have no right to feel hurt at what you say. It is true that in many respects I am the child and she the grown person that you have seen already, but waking or sleeping, by night or day, in sickness or health, she is the one object of my care. And if you know of this, turn it. And if you knew of how much care you would look on me with different eyes, you would indeed. Ah, it's a weary life for an old man, a weary life. But there is great end to gain that I keep before me. Seeing that he was in a state of excitement and impatience, I turned to put on an outer coat which I had thrown off entering the room, purposing to say no more. I was surprised to see the child standing patiently by with a cloak upon her arm and in her hand a hat and stick. Those are not mine, my dear, I said. No, returned the child, they are grandfather's. But he's not going out tonight. Oh, yes, he is, said the child with a smile. And what becomes of you, my pretty one? Me? I stay here, of course. I always do. I looked in astonishment towards the old man, but he was, or feigned to be, busy in the arrangement of his dress, from which From him I looked back to the slight, gentle figure of the child, alone in that gloomy place all day, all the long dreary night. She evinced no consciousness of my surprise, but cheerfully helped the old man with his cloak, and when he was ready took a candle to light us out. Finding that we did not follow as she expected, she looked back with a smile and waited for us. The old man showed by his face that he plainly understood the cause of my hesitation, but he merely signed to me with an inclination of the head. Shit. It's sleepy already. Gosh knows. Inclination of the head to pass out of the room before him and remain silent. I had no resource but to comply. When we reached the door, the child, setting down the candle, turned to say good night and raised her face to kiss me. What? Then she ran to the old man who folded her in his arms and bade God bless her. Sleep soundly, Nell, he said in a low voice, and angels guard thy bed. Do not forget thy prayers, my sweet. No, indeed, answered the child fervently. They make me feel so happy. That's well, I know they do. They should, said the old man. Bless thee 100 times. Early in the morning I shall be home. You'll not ring twice, returned the child. The bell wakes me even in the middle of a dream. With this they separated. The child opened the door, now guarded by shutters, which I had heard the boy put up before he left the house, and with another farewell, whose clear and tender note I had recalled 1,000 times, held it until he passed he passed out. The old man paused a moment while he was gently closed and fastened on the inside, and satisfied that this was done, walked on a slow pace. At the street corner he stopped, and regarding me with a troubled countenance, said that our ways were widely different and he must take his leave. I would have spoken, but summoning up more alacrity than might have been expected in one of his appearances, a person of his appearance, he hurried away. I could see that twice or thrice he looked back, as if to ascertain if I were still watching him, or perhaps to assure himself that I was not following at a distance. The obscurity of the night favored his disappearance, and his figure was soon beyond my sight. I remained standing on the spot where he had left me, unwilling to depart, and yet unknowing why I should loiter there, looking wistfully. I looked wistfully into the street we had lately quitted, and after a time directed my steps that way. I passed and repassed the house and stopped and listened at the door. All was dark and silent as the grave. I'm so sleepy, y'all. I think I'm going to have to stop there. There's just a few more pages, but I'll try to get them tomorrow. And then we will hopefully get on the next chapter. I'm so sorry. I don't know why this happens to me. Stitching or reading. So I'm getting back to this again. I'm back on red again. Yay! So I did a whole skein of the red, a whole skein of this. Now back to the red, then back to the brown. Oh, I hope it looks right. After it felts. And even before it felts, I hope it is supposed to be nice. I kind of did go rogue, I will admit. Oh, I want to make some other things, but they require a lot of counting. I can count, but I get sleepy counting too. Lord help. I need not just a shot of B12. Shot, I don't know what. I love y'all. Be sweet, don't be ugly. See you tomorrow at 3. And remember, there'll be a giveaway. Did I say be sweet, don't be ugly? If I didn't, there you are. If I did, there you are twice. Love you, bye.